Hello, my name is Linda, and I have a question for you all. Has there ever been any jealousy in your family? Have your family members ever been involved in squabbles caused by jealousy between brothers and sisters or between parents and children? I'm asking because when cancer came down hard on me, so did a major case of sibling rivalry. You could call it sibling rivalry on steroids, actually. And that's what my story is about, sibling rivalry. And I have another question for you. Do you think that a cancer diagnosis can open a Pandora's box of family resentments? Well, that's just what happened in my family. First of all, I have to say that although parents may not ignore rivalry problems, no family can spend a childhood together without bumping up against each other in very annoying ways. It's just not possible. In my family, that's just the way it was. And as the oldest, I admit to being too bossy, with everyone pushing back every once in a while against my bossiness. But my mom let me get away with being the leader and a second mother. That was just the way it was in my family. But oh, am I paying for that now? All of those bumping up past woes came back to haunt me a few months after telling my family about the cancer diagnosis. I remember the flash of insight that occurred a few months after the diagnosis as each of my sisters kept acting out scenes dictated by that hidden chest full of family resentments. The cancer diagnosis brought out the hidden resentments from their hiding places. And instead of getting the emotional support when I needed it most, I got bucket loads of resentment. All of the awkward and censored silences during past holiday dinners came back to haunt me. All of the subjects on the officially censored kosher taboo list were on my sister's mind a good deal now. Why was Linda more important to mom and dad? Why did she get more attention, more home learning, and even more money than the rest of us? But while my sisters were thinking those angry thoughts, they didn't have the courage to say them aloud. In fact, they didn't have the courage to admit that they had any resentments at all. They had placed a barbed wire level of protection right in front of that treasure chest of resentments and taboos. And there was nothing that I could do to budge that chest one bit. It was a no-win situation. But I'm hoping that they may someday realize that I might have a few good qualities that might still be helpful in their lives. I'm hopeful that they will admit to the resentments and overcome them before it's too late and before I'm dead due to the cancer fight that I'm always waging. But who knows what the future will bring. If only that box of taboo resentments could be pried open just a tiny little bit, with just the crack of those hidden terrors peeking out from under the lid so that we could all just talk about this anger toward me. I've written a story about how this resentment pops up in many families when a serious illness occurs. Here's a story that I wrote for my sisters. Maybe I'll have the courage to read it to them a few years from now. The title is A Cancer Patient's Final Bill, the tally of what I owe my sisters. Everything changes the day you tell your family about the cancer diagnosis. And two possible reactions occur. Your arm-opening family gets closer if there were no major problems before then, or the countdown begins with the minutes ticking away for each side. For the cancer victim, the clock is an ever-present reminder of the time you have left on the planet. And for the patient's family members who push away rather than pulling toward the sick one, that clock is a bill marked total due. It's a ticking reminder of how much the cancer victim owes each of them. The cancer patient owes each of them dad's love that was withheld in favor of the sick one. The cancer patient owes each of them mom's excess investment of time that wasn't spent with more deserving sisters. The list of each of the extra favors that were done for the sick one during healthier years gets tallied up. As the eldest, she got more respect. As the loudmouth brat, she got the most attention out of all of us. As the firstborn, she got the largest number of childhood pictures in the photo album, time spent listening to mom's bedtime stories, praise for her intellect and school accomplishments. And the absolute worst indictment of all, she got more money out of Dad, money that she never deserved. And the list goes on, with slightly different twists and turns for each of the ready and willing judges. Meanwhile, in the background, the cancer victim's feelings fall quickly into total invisibility. How can she be important when all this screaming fury is swirling around in the heads of her judges? That family anger doesn't fade, it just intensifies as the sick one refuses to put the family's anger first, ahead of her daily struggle to survive. And now the sick one begins to acknowledge every single day that none of them will ever forgive her for those extras doled out by Mom and Dad, that this bill-counting reckoning will continue even after she's dead. And that's just the way life is. That's it. The sum total of her life's accomplishments includes a family bill that will never be paid, and that will never be forgiven, too. End of story, and a sad story it was in the end, because family has always been the most important part of everyone's life, whether that's acknowledged or not even acknowledged at all. But there's still hope. There's always hope. Hope that refuses to completely die out. Hope that the uncontrolled family rage will someday, maybe years down the road, die out before the death occurs. That rage will transfer someday into anger. That the rage will stop gushing down and begin to slowly trickle out instead. Maybe turn into frustration, then into forgiveness. Dare I say that? Or think it? Or dream about it? For even a few seconds of the time left on my life clock? It's a good thing that hope dies last.